Hey, this is Joe from Home Studio Corner, and today we're going to tackle how to mix rap vocals. Now, as you might have guessed, I am an accomplished rapper. Not really, but I have mixed rap tunes before, and I collaborated with my rapper friend Low Pro on a song a few years ago. I had to go pull it out of the vault. I couldn't find the connection for this hard drive. It took me forever, but I found it for you so we can go through and mix this rap vocal together. Real quickly, let me just play the raw tracks for you, and then we'll talk about how I would approach mixing them.
Let me see if Low Pro can put some perspective in the situation. Yeah. Can't take away from all the men and women who gave their lives on the battlefield. What the battle's real, but America's a battle still. Built off the back of black bruters, bloodthirsty opportunists, build us to the highest consumer. Bundling trips on.
So the story of this song is pretty great. I needed a third verse. I wanted him to write it. He came over, hadn't even finished writing the verse. Sat on the couch, finished it, and then knocked out this recording in like 30 minutes. It was bonkers. But the way he recorded it was basically he doubled the lead and he recorded it 2 bars at a time. So he recorded 2 bars on tracks 1 and 2, then 2 bars on tracks 3 and 4, and then back to 1 and 2. And he did the 1 and 2 in like one take, and then he did the other part on the next take. It was really fun to watch. But that's the basic tracks, and then a couple of hype tracks here where he does cool things like says, "Oh," and stuff like that. So here, let me talk about mixing vocals, specifically rap vocals. I think of rap vocals completely different from singing vocals. Not because I think of them different creatively. I think it takes a lot more skill to do this a lot of times than to just sing a few notes, because there's so many words, so many syllables, so much rhythmic variation that there's a reason a lot of people can't pull this off. But to me, when it comes to mixing, I think of rap more like spoken word, podcasts, voiceover, videos, than I do think of it as a vocal. The reason I say that is a vocal is holding out notes for a long time. Rap doesn't do that, right? It's more spoken, it's more rhythmic, it's shorter bits of audio. So I need to approach that differently. I think about rap vocals almost like a percussion instrument, drums, more than I do vocals, if that makes sense. Vocals are more legato and holding out long notes. Drums are rap is very staccato and drum-like, at least to my brain. Which means I want to approach mixing this differently, especially when it comes to using compression. So compression allows us to squash the vocal a little bit to maximize the volume, maximize every syllable so we can hear it clearly over the top of a busy mix. It's one way of explaining compression. And so this song, we actually mixed this as a part of Dueling Mixes. So Dueling Mixes was a thing I ran with Graham Cochran for 7 years, where we would mix a new song every month. We mixed this one month. And when I listen back to mixes from our members, I notice, by the way, Dueling Mixes is close, so don't ask. I noticed that so many people would overprocess the rap vocal. They'd get my vocal for the singing parts right, but when it came to the rap, they would just overcompress, just overdo everything, and it doesn't need that. So the first point to write down, and you're not going to like this, is if your raw recording, your raw vocal doesn't sound very good, that's where I would start. Don't even bother with mixing tricks, because you got to get it sounding better. So here is his raw vocal without the backing tracks.
Can't take away from all the men and women who gave their lives on the battlefield. What the battle's real, but America's a battle still.
That's a killer performance, and it's been recorded fine, right? It's not like there's no obvious issues here. If it's clipping, if you hear a ton of room sound, if you hear all these problems there and you're thinking, I can fix that in the mix, you can't fix it in the mix. You can maybe make it better. It's always better to get it right at the source. I'm just saying that in case you're new. The folks who've been watching me for a while are rolling their eyes right now because I say it all the time because it's true, and a lot of you don't believe it. Shame on you. I'm kidding. Okay, so what does that mean if rap vocals are more percussive? It means when it comes to using compression, I'm going to go fast attack, fast release. I'm going to use it more like a limiter than like a normal compressor that's squashing it and then letting go, and it's this smooth thing. I don't want smooth. I want bam. I want to get in, get out, get the job done. So let's listen to this vocal. And I'll start with EQ probably. Let's just listen and see what we have. What do I want to change with EQ first?
Can't take away from all the men and women who gave their lives on the battlefield. What the battle's real, but America's a battle still. Oh.
Initial thought is there's a lot of upper mid range. It's spoken word, that's going to happen, and then vocals just sometimes, especially male vocals, tend to have like this. Those frequencies tend to be pretty prominent. Let's balance that out with some EQ. So I'm going to add Pro EQ to this channel, And I'm just gonna, first thing I'm gonna do is go find where is that annoying frequency happening. I'm gonna turn auto gain on so it doesn't get super loud and give us both a headache.
Can't take away from all the men and women who gave their lives on the battlefield where the battle's real, but America's a battle still. Built off the back of black bruters, bloodthirsty opportunists, build us to the highest consumer.
It still hurts. Still hurts. Okay, so that's about right under 3K. So let's just pull that down and see if we can smooth that vocal out.
Can't take away from all the men and women who gave their lives on the battlefield where the battle's real, but America's a battle still. Built off the back of black bruters, bloodthirsty opportunists, build us to the highest consumer. Monthly trips on slave ships, body shackled to the docks. Fast forward to present day, they try to tell me it's done stop when they...
That alone feels a lot better. It's a lot smoother sounding. It doesn't have that that makes you kind of want to put your head back and not listen as closely. Let me just turn that on and off so you can hear the difference. Hold on, what are you doing? Stop it. Okay, I'm gonna turn that on and off so you can hear the difference.
Can't take away from all the men and women who gave their lives on the battlefield where the battle's real, but America's a battle still. Built off the back of black bruters, bloodthirsty opportunists, build us to the highest consumer. Monthly trips on slave ships, body shackled to the...
It's a subtle difference. If you want to rewind it and listen again, when I turned the auto gain off, it helped. It went from being this sounding good to just those that came out on certain syllables. Those went away. That's all we did. And that's all we're trying to do. So now in the track, it actually sounds pretty good.
Take away from all the men and women who gave their lives on the battle.
Now it might be a little bit on the muffled side, so let's deal with that. I'm going to put in a low cut just to get rid of any rumble.
Can't take away from all the men and women who gave...
Oh, that sounds so good.
Battle's real, but America's a battle still. Built off the back of black bruters, bloodthirsty opportunists, build us to the high...
Just to make sure there's no rumble down there. And then I want to find, usually when there's a lot of vocals together, usually there's something kind of in the mid-range, 500 hertz or so. Let's find that and deal with it.
Can't take away from all the men and women who gave their lives on the battlefield where the battle's real, but America's a battle still. Built off the back of black bruters, bloodthirsty opportunists, build us to the highest consumer. Monthly trips on slave ships, body shackled to the docks. Fast forward to present day, they try to tell me it's done stop. When they throw us in these slums, miseducate all our youngs, and they flood us with these drugs and these guns, then judge what we become. I'm just saying, let's be specific. If you want statistics, 1 out of 15 is in prison. Coincidence is nonsense. I see the same pattern. Hashtag Black Lives Matter.
All right, I like it. So the boost here at 200 hertz. Normally I wouldn't boost at 200 hertz, but this vocal is not super warm. I had him off the mic a little bit just because he was reading the lines here. And he was moving around a lot, so I just wanted to give him space. So it's a little thinner of a recording. I think if I had it to do over again, I'd have him get a little bit closer. But that's not like a deal breaker. I just boost a little bit at 200 hertz. Normally that would sound weird on a vocal, but here it kind of works. It almost makes it, this is a terrible analogy, but it sounds like we ran it through some tubes more than we did, if that makes sense. Here it is.
Can't take away from all the men and women who gave their lives on the battlefield where the battle's real, but America's a battle still. Built off the back of black bruters, bloodthirsty opportunists, build us to the highest...
And then I tried boosting the extra top end. I didn't like what it did to the S's. I want to hear the S's, but when I boosted it just a little bit, there was too much coming through. Didn't sound natural. I mean, I know a vocal doesn't technically sound natural once we start mixing it, but it sounded a little wonky, so I took that high boost away. So now what I want to do is I want to add some compression. I want to just tighten it up because it still has, he's pretty consistent. Like you look at the waveforms and like he's not all over the place volume-wise, but even still, I want some compression to even tame that a little bit more and to get those louder parts closer to the quieter parts in volume, so it's just a nice, consistent, steady level across the top. By the way, I didn't mention, why am I just doing this on one track? This, if you don't take anything else away from this video, do this on your next track. If you've got multiple tracks of vocals, guitars, drums, or whatever, yes, you could go put an EQ across every channel and EQ each one individually. But guess what? If it's all the same vocal, same singer, same parts or similar parts, you're just going to be repeating yourself. So why not route all of these to a single bus? All these yellow vocal tracks are going to this red bus, and I'm doing one EQ to process 8 tracks. And guess what? It works just fine. And it makes life so much easier. And guess what? Now I'm going to put my compressor on that same track. If you haven't tried it, don't knock it till you try it. And by the way, this is the part where people will tell me I'm mixing it wrong. That's fine. This is the way I do it, and it works pretty well for me. But feel free to try your own. So I'm going to go with a fast attack, fast release, like 10 milliseconds. I know 10 is not super fast on the attack side, but a fairly quick release, because what I want the compressor to do is just, I want it to just hit the vocal and let go. I don't want it to go, I want it to go, I want it to go quick and easy. So we're going to go maybe 4-to-1 ratio, no knee. And I'm going to pull this threshold down until it's just hitting those loud parts and popping back to 0 pretty easily.
Can't take away from all the men and women who gave their lives on the battlefield where the battle's real, but America's a battle still. Built off the back of black brutals, bloodthirsty opportunists, build us to the highest consumer. Monthly trips on slave ships, body shackled to the docks. Fast forward to present day, they try to tell me it's done stop. When they throw us in these slums, miseducate all our youngs, and they flood us with these drugs and these guns, then judge what we become. I'm just saying, let's be specific if you want statistics. 1 out of 15 is in prison. Coincidence is nonsense. I see the same pattern. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. I scream for my people until we're treated equal.
Ooh, that sounds good to me. So you can hear when I turn both of those off, I just sound like an old man. Oh, doggy, that sounds nice. When I take those plugins off, here's what it sounds like.
Can't take away from all the men and women who gave their...
And here it is with those plugins on.
Can't take away from all the men and women who gave their lives on the battlefield where the battle's real, but...
It's just more in your face. It's not louder. It's a little more clear. It's a little warmer, but not muddy, and it's just a little more in your face. The final thing, I think that compressor finally brought out some of that sibilance, so the S's and T's are a little loud.
Can't take away from all the men and women who gave their lives on the battlefield where the battle's real, but America's a battle still.
So I'm going to use just regular compressor plugin set to de-esser mode to just take care of those highs a little bit. If you have Studio One and you're using this compressor plugin, just screenshot right now and you can see these are the settings I use for a de-esser. It's an internal sidechain that just listens to the high frequencies. And then it only compresses when those get too loud. So I'm going to just pull that threshold down. We'll listen. We'll basically pull it down until it sounds like he has a lisp or something's wrong. Then we'll pull it back up to where it's just a nice normal amount of S's without it being super exaggerated, which sometimes happens when you use compression. Here we go.
Can't take away from all the men and women who gave their lives on the battlefield where the battle's real, but America's a battle still. Built off the back of black brutals, bloodthirsty opportunists, build us to the highest consumer. Monthly trips on slave ships, body shackled to the docks. Fast forward to present day, they try to tell me it's done stop. When they throw us in these slums, miseducate all like...
A de-esser is a really powerful tool for, in some ways, warming up the vocal. It doesn't take away the air on top when he's speaking normally, but when he goes into the S's and T's, it just brings those down. So that takes away that edge of brightness that was there on those sibilant sounds, but leaves the air in otherwise. So it can sound pretty good. Let me turn it up a little bit.
Can't take away from all the men and women who gave their lives on the battlefield where the battle's real, but America's a battle still. Built off the back of black brutals, bloodthirsty opportunists, build us to the highest consumer. Monthly trips on slave ships, body shackled to the docks. Fast forward to present day, they try to tell me it's done stop. When they throw us in these slums, miseducate all our youngs, and they flood us with these drugs and these guns, then judge what we become. Just saying.
So I went in and just kind of reset that upper mid frequency, and it ended up a little higher than 3K. Same general area, that felt a little bit better. And sometimes after you compress, go back and adjust the EQ, and it can actually sometimes help you find the perfect spot because they all interact together. One big final point I want to make is how the vocals sound in solo doesn't matter as much as how they sound with the track. Obviously, I got to show it to you in solo so you can hear all the changes.
Can't take away from all the men and women who gave their life.
But when I listen to this, I think, it's lacking a little bit of life. It doesn't have as much full frequencies as I kind of thought it should have. But as soon as I drop it in the track, it sits to my ear perfectly.
Can't take away from all the men and women who gave their lives on the battlefield where the battle's real, but America's a battle still. Built off the back of black brutals, bloodthirsty opportunists, build us to the highest consumer. Monthly trips on slave ships, body shackled to the docks. Fast forward to present day, they try...
I dig that. And this is very normal for me. I'll say I'm done, then I move the EQ one more time and it feels a little bit better to me. And then I usually take a break and come back and listen to it. So this has been kind of a quick and dirty. Obviously, these are just plain old vanilla Pro EQ and compressor plugins. You can get great mixes with those. If you want to use other ones, great. Just use the same approach. And stop doing so much. If you're mixing rap vocals, just let them be what they are. Use the tools sparingly, and I think you'll end up with better results. You got to trust me on this. At least go try it, then come back here and leave a comment and let me know. Okay, you've gotten to listen to bits and pieces here. I'm going to let the outro music be this entire verse, and we'll do the rest of the chorus too, so you can get a feel for the whole song. Thanks so much for watching. If you want my overall kind of guide to mixing, it's called the 5-Step Mixing Guide. You can get that at 5stepmix.com. It's free. Check it out. Thanks for watching. See ya.
Yeah. Can't take away from all the men and women who gave their lives on the battlefield where the battle's real, but America's a battle still. Built off the back of black Brutus, bloodthirsty opportunists, built us to the highest consumer. Monthly trips on slave ships, body shackled to the docks. Fast forward to present day, they try to tell me it's done stop. When they throw us in these slums, miseducate all our youngs, and they flood us with these drugs and these guns, then judge what we become. I'm just saying, let's be specific if you want statistics. 1 out of 15 is in prison. Coincidence is nonsense. I see the same pattern. Hashtag Black Lives Matter. I scream for my people until we're treated equal.
Free, land of the free, home of the brave. At least that's what they say. But if we cross the tracks and see, it can't really be land of the free.
I'ma let that marinate, Joe.
Home of the slave.
Let that sit in.